3.
I would like to call to order the City of Cherryville's regular City Council meeting of Monday, November the 13th, 2023. I would like to ask everyone to please stand for our invocation by Dr. Vince Hefner of First Baptist Church, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members. It is always a pleasure to come and to pray at these meetings. We thank you all because you all love our town, Cherryville, and for that we are grateful. Let us pray together. Our Father in heaven, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for your love and grace that you extend to us each and every day. Father, we thank you for our town, the people that serve our town, the people that love our town. We lift them up to you. We thank you for the hard task that they have, and Lord, they do it out of the love of their heart for this community. We pray for the meeting that takes place tonight, for all the people here, all the interested citizens. We thank you for that. That's part of the democratic process. So grateful for our government, grateful for those that are here to cover the press, grateful for just you being grateful to us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. The first item we have to address tonight is the agenda. I need action from council on approving the agenda as presented.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed the same. There is none. Next item is approval of the minutes of A, our City Council regular meeting of October the 9th, 2023, and B, the City Council work session meeting of October the 31st, 2023. What is the council's pleasure?
Make a motion that we approve both sets of minutes with the same vote, the regular meeting of October the 9th and the work session on October the 31st.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented of A, our City Council regular session meeting, and B, our City Council work session meeting. All in favor of this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, and there is none. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the mayor's comments. City engineer Riesel Wright has completed the site plans for the new gym, and all contractors have been given this information. City Manager Dalton met this past Thursday with 2 of the contractors, and results of these bids will be disclosed in a future date. The work on our parks are still in progress. Mr. Sosby is working on the completion of the pickleball court at Westgate. In fact, we rode by there at lunch today, and the pickleball has been striped. The parking areas have been striped, and paving has been finished there, and the parking area has been finished, and we will have the pickleball courts open. I think he said he may finish them today.
He finished them. I sent y'all a text earlier with the nets up and everything. He did
Okay,
finish them.
that's great. So pickleball courts ready. We will be looking at putting up fences around the basketball and the pickleball court. The Aaron Moss basketball court is scheduled for completion within the next few weeks also, and work is being done on the senior Little League field to prepare it for the 2024 season. A new roof has been installed on our train depot building. The repair was covered by the city's insurance company. We did receive reimbursement also of $285,000 from the state of North Carolina for the May 16th storm damage. This money will go back into the city's electric fund. Jerry Twiggs met with City Manager Dalton last week to discuss the smoke testing of our sewer lines This is through the AIA grant our city received. This work should begin within the next couple of weeks, and the city will do its best to notify our citizens when this work begins. And I want to send out a big thank you to Ned Yates for the painting of the press box at the Senior Little League field. This was a huge improvement to this facility and a great enhancement to this area. The owner of the new Mexican restaurant that is going in the old Pepperoni Express building talked with me last week and said refurbishment of the building is still going on, and he expects the opening will be sometime in early 2024. He is excited about the opening and anticipates that a great future will be here in Cherryville. Vicki Sperling has been in contact with the county and expects to have the necessary building permits for the Cherry Pit restaurant soon. The city elections are history, and I want to congratulate Councilmember Malcolm Parker and Councilmember-elect Janice Hovis for the great campaigns that they ran. Councilmember Hovis will be installed at our December council meeting, along with myself as mayor and John Abernathy as council members for our respective terms. And as we approach the Thanksgiving season, I want to remind all our citizens how thankful I am for the accomplishments that this council, city manager, city staff, and city workers have made in this past year. Please, when you see any of these people, let them know how proud you are of them and of our city also. And that concludes our mayor's comments. Next item will be special recognition of employees for years of service. And I'm going to do this down front. I think we've got quite a few because it's been several months since we recognized our citizens for their years of service. And the first one I have to recognize is Grady Costner. He's here. If you'll come forward, you'll get to my left here, Grady. This is a certificate is awarded to Grady Costner in recognition of 5 years of service to the city of Cherryville, and it's signed by your city manager, Brian Dalton, and H.L. Bean, mayor. Congratulations.
I think Grayson is here. You can call his name out.
The next one is for Grayson Stout. Is Grayson here? Okay, I don't believe he's here. And that was in recognition of 5 years of service to the city. And the next one is Chris Hedick. He's here, I see him. Chris. This certificate is awarded to Chris Hedick in recognition of 10 years of service to the city of Cherryville. Again, signed by City Manager Brian Dalton and Mayor H.L. Bean. Congratulations.
Stanley's not here.
Okay, the next one was for also, this one was for Stanley LeBlanc in recognition of 15 years of service to the city of Cherryville. And I don't think they are present.
Cindy's not present.
He's not present.
She's not either.
Okay, and the next one is for Cynthia Payne, and that is also 15 years of service. She is not here.
Ben's not here.
And we got another one absent, and this is for 20 years of service. That's for Ben Strapp in our electrical department. Ben's not with us tonight.
Patty's here.
And this person for sure is here. This certificate is for Patty Hall. Patty, if you'll come forward. You've been with us a few years, haven't you?
Yep.
Okay. This certificate is awarded to Patty Hall in recognition, are you ready? 30 years of service to the city of Cherryville. catch up on a lot of those. We got behind when our city clerk was out. She takes care of that for us. So our next item is citizens to be heard. At this time, any citizen that would like to be heard may do so by coming to the podium, stating your name and address, and remember that comments will be strictly held to 5 minutes. And on our sign-up sheets, I do have one citizen that would like to be heard, and if you'd come forward, Sid Strapp.
Good evening. I'm Sid Strapp, and I live at 207 West Academy Street. I wanted to return. I came 2 months ago, I believe it was, and talked to the council and the citizens about a little special project that several private individuals around town we're working together to procure cherry trees for the city. And I'd like to report that we're successful. We've got a project together. We have the supplier identified. It's a direct source from Tennessee, the mountains of Tennessee. He's going to deliver. We're hoping to have 100 cherry trees this round. They'll be of the Yoshima type, which is the, I think, pink, sort of real flowery type. We got a great price for them. It's just maybe 10 or so more dollars than the last time we bought them, or that they were bought about 4 years ago. So we got them at $160 per tree. So as far as the plan itself, they will be delivered from Tennessee, I believe the end of the first week in December. And then we have our a landscaper identified that we're going to pay them to go around and dig, plant, mulch, water, and fertilize for us. And come back in the month of March to fertilize again for the season. Let's see, we haven't quite met our fundraising goals, so if anybody would like to step forward and help us out in a $160 tree, that would be most appreciated. But I think this is really a great thing. You know, these are private citizens that have decided to help the city of Cherryville. We're taking on the cost, not looking for the city to provide any financial support. But, you know, in the future, we would like to include them perhaps as part of the landscaping of the city that maybe the city workers could then take care of in the future. So that's really it. Do you have any questions about it?
Any council member have any questions for Mr. Strapp? My question would be, will this involve any private citizens for planting for them? Could somebody request a tree and actually purchase it and then have someone to come and plant it for them? Because I think the problem with a lot of the trees were they weren't planted properly. Correct. And they did not live.
Well, you know, as we talked a couple months ago, this time around, we were just trying to get the project together, plant these, but we do have a second phase that we would like to see happen next summer of 2024, where we'll do an open public campaign to try to enlist people to buy, either to plant in their own yard or to, help us plant an additional one on city property. So just this time around, it's 100 trees. It's a small group of individuals that would like to remain anonymous, and we're going to do this as a gift to Cherryville. I will tell you that per the request, our first goal is the city cemetery. And I think we've got at least 30 or 35 trees, areas that we've identified to plant them. Brian and the group from the city have taken up the ones that have died over the last month or so. So that'll help us, just move in, redig the whole plant and move on from there. So I hopefully in January I'll be back and we'll have them all in the ground, and we'll be able to. You'll be able to see them hopefully by Christmas.
Have you addressed the ones that have already been planted? Is that part of your campaign to see that they're healthy? The ones that we already planted years ago.
Yeah. Well, that's not officially part of this project. However, my sister and I, Carol Strapp, I'd like to raise her name. We've been going around and doing pruning of the older trees and trying to reshape them so that they will start growing up rather than out. we'll see how that goes. I mean, we really are interested to make sure that the older ones are taken care of. So I'll be back on that as well.
Okay, thank you for spearheading this project and your dedication on it.
You'll take a donation like for a memorial tree to put
Yes.
somewhere and things.
Now, I did have someone say, but I'd like to put a plaque, okay? But I just said, really at this time around, we're just trying to get them in the ground. But yes, I mean, that's what I plan to do. I'm doing in memory of my parents. And I just know that they're out there, so.
I think people will be interested. I
do
like
too.
it. I like the idea.
If you'd like to, call Paige or call Brian. And maybe then they'll forward your name over to me and maybe we could help get, because like I said, we haven't raised all the money, but this is going to happen one way or the other. We're going to make sure it does. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have any other citizen at this time that would like to be heard? If you didn't sign up, you still have an opportunity if you would like to speak. Okay, got a large crowd, but they're all quiet tonight, so. Okay, we'll move on then to our agenda for item number 9. And this is consideration of termination of contract in reference to 109 East Main Street. And for all of you that are not familiar with the 109 East Main Street, that is where our current historical museum is located. Our city manager, Brian Dalton, will lead us through this. That will go to page 24 through 26 in your tablets.
Yes, Mayor, Council, you can see there on page 24, the City of Cherryville entered into an agreement with Cherryville Main Street LLC on July the 10th of 2023 after a long upset bid process to purchase 109 East Main Street, which is our Cherryville Historical Museum. We've been through a long process in litigation with a lawsuit that was filed by Mr. Putnam. That lawsuit has been dismissed at this time, but it was dismissed without prejudice. So at this time, Mr. O'Leary and Cherryville Main Street LLC is having a difficult time getting title insurance. So because of that, they approached the city and they wish to cancel the contract, and we would return their $20,000 that they put up in earnest money.
Okay. Does any council member have any questions concerning what would need to be done on this? So that would be a refund to Mr. O'Leary.
Yes, sir.
And the contract would be voided at that time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions from any council member?
Could this building be put back up for bid again?
It can always be put back up.
Any
Or
other
if somebody,
discussion?
or if somebody would make an offer, then it goes to council, and council can make a decision to set the offer and then go through the upset bid process.
Okay.
Either or.
So we're not gonna really put it out there for sale again. We just look at bids if they come in.
I mean, you can do, whichever one you would like.
Yeah, okay.
Well, council, I would just say, Mayor and City Council, I would just say this is voluntary. We're not required to agree to this. We also, as the sellers, could cure the title issue to make the buyer whole with some more time. So I just wanted to add those comments for consideration for Mayor and Council.
So we could table this until, is that what you're saying?
Well, I think what she's saying is legally you could make this sale go forward,
Right.
so to speak, if that's what you choose to do. But with the situation at hand, my recommendation is not to do that. That's me.
Could the court change anything? Could it be changed and be dismissed with prejudice?
Well, I forwarded an email to each of you from Mr. Patrick Flanagan, who represented the city of Cherryville in this matter, and he has sent an email to Mr. Putnam's attorney about getting this changed to state with prejudice. Because if that's not changed, I don't know the answer on how long it would hold. As far as, would this be something that if the city tried to sell this building 20 years from now that shows up? I don't know the answer to that, to be honest with you.
Liz Pendens is good for 6 months. So if the lawsuit's not filed and perfected within 6 months from the Liz Pendens, then the Liz Pendens is canceled as a matter of statute.
Okay.
So that means they can't
Not sure
refile
what
it?
you're
or-
saying, can you
That-
explain
that
that a
just-
little bit more?
Yes, sir. So what's happened, the cloud on title is a Liz Pendens. So they filed what's called a Liz Pendens, and that preserves their place against the title. So it relates back to the day that Liz Pendens was filed, not when the actual action was filed. So when they file the Liz Pendens, that becomes a cloud on title, a lien against the property, potential lien. Then they file a lawsuit. And the lawsuit a judgment has to be entered based on that lawsuit, and then that judgment relates back to the Liz Pendens, the day the Liz Pendens was filed. So, but the Liz Pendens is only good for 6 months from the date that it's filed. So if no lawsuit is filed within that 6 months, then they would have to file a new Liz Pendens to preserve a new date in time, and then file a lawsuit and then get a judgment that would relate back to that Liz Pendens date.
As long as that judgment is without prejudice, he could always sue again, couldn't he?
Yes, sir. But only if he did it within those 6 months would that Liz Pendens relate back.
Oh, okay, so after 6 months, it would go away for good.
The Liz Pendens goes away, yes, sir, and he would have to refile the Liz Pendens.
He could refile it.
He could, yes, sir.
Is there a time limit on that?
On refiling Liz Pendens, no. It'd be a new
So
action.
it needs to be changed to with prejudice at some point.
It does, or the Liz Pendens needs to be canceled. They need to terminate the Liz Pendens. So that's the missing piece.
You said it'd be canceled in 6 months anyway.
Yes, sir. But if we want to move forward with this sale, then we would ask their attorney to go ahead and cancel that Liz Pendens. Even if they don't dismiss it without prejudice, once the Liz Pendens is gone, that's what the title company's worried about.
Okay, here's where I come from, and I'm looking at a personal basis, that we were also listed in that judgment as individuals. What if I decide to sell my house tomorrow? Is there gonna be a lien on my house, just like there was, what was filed earlier?
That's certainly something Mr. Flanagan should push the attorney to dismiss. You all are not subject to personal liability in your role in this capacity. But you're right, Mayor Bean, you still don't want that cloud to have to deal with on any title. So it would make sense that certainly it should be dismissed as to you all individually with prejudice, and the Liz Pendens should be terminated.
Okay.
But the judge is he not aware of all this? Should he not have gone ahead and done it right to begin with?
I wasn't privy to the case, Council Freeman. They certainly go back and modify that order if that needs to be the case. Make that request. And also, it wasn't a judge's ruling, right? It was a voluntary dismissal by the defendant, by the plaintiff. Yes. It could have been a judge's ruling, yes. And one can ponder many reasons why they entered the voluntary dismissal as opposed to letting the judge make a ruling.
I don't understand why the judge just didn't go ahead and do it.
Hang on,
I mean, hell, I'm stuck.
hang on.
I don't understand why the judge just wouldn't go ahead and do it, make it right, without giving him the opportunity to do it without prejudice.
Yes, sir. An action can be dismissed at any time by the plaintiff voluntarily. So that's what they did. They voluntarily moved to dismiss it without prejudice. The judge never made a ruling.
I know.
Yes, sir.
Because there's really no basis anyway. I mean, municipalities are exempt from squatters' rights in the state of North Carolina. And you can't claim squatters' rights with an active lease, so there's no validity at all. That's why I was really upset that he didn't dismiss it with prejudice. Because it doesn't hold water.
Yeah, I agree.
So we're gonna have to get that done anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
If you refer back to the email from this weekend,
Yeah.
that's what that is.
Yeah.
It's gonna be done.
I understand it, yeah.
We just need to countersuit.
Have you,
And that's a possibility.
as city manager, have, I didn't read it all today, but have you actually asked Mr. Putman if he would dismiss it with prejudice?
No, I've not talked to
No.
Mr. Putnam.
Our
Okay.
lawyers are
No.
dealing with it.
Okay,
Yeah, we can't.
Flanagan and his.
so our lawyer will ask for that.
Our
He
lawyer
did
sent the
already.
email
Yeah.
to his attorney.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
all right.
So that's where we're gonna be.
So, actually, I would need, action from the council on consideration of termination of the contract as is tonight. What's the council's pleasure?
You want a motion?
Yes.
Make a motion, we go ahead and release them from that contract.
Okay, I have a motion, to terminate the contract as presented with, Mr. O'Leary. Do I have a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Okay.
Can I add one thing, and that's return the $20,000.
And return the $20,000.
And that is part of the termination of the contract.
Yeah.
That we would, return the earnest money that was presented of $20,000.
Correct.
City would return that money. Okay, I have a motion and I do have a second. Is there any other discussion by council? All right, if not, all in favor of this motion, please say so by aye. And all opposed the same? There is none. Okay, we'll move on to item 10, consideration of a resolution supporting Gastonia Housing Authority. I think we have Ms. Pascal here from the Housing Authority, and our city manager, Brian Dalton. Do you want to voice anything prior to Ms. Pascal?
Basically, it's as I presented at the work session. This is simply a formality that we support this as far as the apartment complex being built. There is no financial obligation at all from the city of Cherryville from this.
Mr. Mayor, council members, thank you for having us tonight. I am Nancy Pascal. I represent the Gastonia Housing Authority. I have with me Denny Blackburn, who is a representative from the developer, Woda Cooper. We're happy to be here and to answer any questions that you may have. We're very excited because this is going to be new construction on West Academy Street, and it will be affordable housing. There'll be 120 units, varying from 1-bedroom to 3-bedroom units. We are seeking and to issue tax-exempt funding, and that would be through bonds. And those have been approved by the Gastonia Housing Authority Board of Commissioners. The city of Gastonia, since we are appointed, since our board is appointed by the city of Gastonia, has also approved in a TEFRA hearing, which is what is occurring now, and they will not have any liability for the bonds. The Housing Authority will not have any liability for the bonds, and neither will the city of Cherryville. There are banks and other financing and equity investors that will be buying the bonds. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. The Woda Cooper is also currently constructing a somewhat similar project in the town of Dallas. And I think they're about 6 months in. Is that right, Denny? And have done the grading work and very excited to bring affordable housing to that town as well.
Is that the one on Old Dallas Road?
It's off of Old Dallas Road. It's Green.
It's off of Evans Lake Road.
Evans Lake. So, any questions? And as Manager Dalton said, the city will have no financial liability.
So what you're basically asking is that we vote to adopt the resolution that's already been adopted by the Housing Authority.
Correct. Correct, Mayor Beam. It is, of course, slightly changed for the city's purposes, but yes, it would be the same approval.
What's the price range of these units?
Monthly rents. Gee, please, come on, Denny.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Council. You may recall I was here about 2 years ago. We went through the rezoning of this property. Now I've got more gray hair, less hair, and a little bit more weight. Great question on the rents. There'll be units that'll be for people that earn up to 50% of the area median income, 60% of the area median income, and 70% of the area median income. That means there can be different rent levels for those units. So if I take, for instance, a 2-bedroom unit, it will be, for people earning up to 50%, the rent will be $890 per month. For the 60%, $1,000, and for the 70%, $1,225. And we have also different other price ranges for the 1-bedrooms and for the 3-bedroom units as well.
Now, is that subject to change as it's ongoing? Do they have to put proof up of what their income is?
Yeah, what happens is they go through a tenant selection process where they provide their income level, background, criminal record, and we go through what you'd expect just to screen residents. And then once they're in, there is a process to review on a yearly basis where they are, but people that get grandfathered in to that level. So you don't end up with having somebody that actually has to move out after a certain time.
Is this gonna be built all in one phase, or is it
It is going to be built all in one phase.
community building and everything?
Community, the whole thing will be in one phase. Five different buildings, to be more precise, all built in one phase. We may end up having maybe the first building ready 3 months before the final building, for instance.
So it's 5 buildings.
5 buildings.
How many units will be in each building?
24.
24.
It's 3 stories.
3 stories.
Okay.
It's sort of built with a sort of like the buildings are all around a sort of an open green space in the middle.
You can see a diagram there on page 28.
28.
This is similar to what they have there on
28.
49 going into Lake Wiley. And they're nice looking units.
Right.
They are real pretty.
The nice looking units will be the same.
Yeah.
There's the different units.
That's
Then there's the community building.
Can I ask you how you came up with the name Rutherford Crossing?
When you look up Cherryville, you got the Rutherford train station. Was the Rutherford line came through here, and that's how we used the word Rutherford Crossing to go with the chain. So that's what we selected.
Dates back to railroad history.
Right.
Sir, will there be a property manager on scene?
That's a great question, City Manager. Yes, there'll be a property manager and a service technician. And we nearly always hire these people on a local basis. So.
Do you have any other rented units? Do you have units that are currently occupied elsewhere
In
North Carolina?
In North Carolina, I think we have about 13, 14 different developments. We have, sorry, excuse me. We have 2 in Hickory, for instance, Center Crossing, Viewmont Square Court. In Hickory, we have 1 in Statesville called Landon Green, another one in Statesville called Bluebird Commons, which is just about to start construction. We have 3 in Charlotte, and then we have in New Bern, Rocky Mount 2, Roanoke Rapids, etc. So Zebulon, and we're also going to start a new development too in Wilson.
Do you have any statistics about crime rates at any of those that you just mentioned?
In our properties, we don't track the crime rates in our properties. I mean, we have good citizens. This is not a Section 8 public voucher development. This is workforce housing.
Okay, any other questions from council? If not, I would need a motion to adopt the resolution as presented.
I'll make a motion, we adopt the resolution as presented.
Okay,
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution as presented. This time I will need a vote. All in favor of the adoption of this resolution, please say aye. All opposed, the same. It is unanimous.
Thank you very
Thank you, Ms.
much.
Pascal. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item 11, and that is consideration of our interconnect contract agreement with the city of Lincolnton. Our city manager, Brian Dalton, will lead us through that. That starts on page 31 in your agenda packet, and it goes through starts on 33 and goes through 41. So,
Mayor, council, I'm just gonna go page by page what we talked about. I've spoken with the city manager of Lincoln, Mr. Haynes, and some of the things that we've looked at changing is if you look at page 33, number 1, about middle way of the page here, or towards the bottom, the sale of water. We can purchase up to 1.2 million gallons per day from the city of Lincoln. What we're gonna add to that after that last sentence is that should we purchase 1.2 million gallons, the entire amount will be $1.50 per 1,000.
okay.
To clarify that. The next thing is, if you go to page 35, the top there, letter C, where it says price and minimum purchase, that will be taken out, the price and minimum purchase. There will not be a minimum purchase. We don't have to purchase anything at all. So basically that will start from Cherryville shall initially pay the city at the rate of $1.50. Now what is in there is the only way that $1.50 can change per 1,000 is if Lincolnton increases their prices on their residents inside the city limits. So if they go up on their city residents 2%, that $1.50 will go up 2%. But only if they increase prices on their residents as well.
Yeah, that would stand to reason. They don't want to sell it to us cheaper than their citizens are.
Well, they're selling a lot cheaper to us than they are their citizens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Page 35, let's see here, and if you go down to number 6, that will all be taken out. And that speaks about the minimum purchase. So we will not have a minimum purchase. So if we go an entire year and we don't need to turn on the interconnect, that's fine. Nothing will be charged. The only thing that we have agreed on is the city of Lincoln incurs about $300 per month in power charges because it is a 3-phase system down there at the interconnect. So with demand and everything else, it's about $300, $3,600 a year. So what we agreed on is in the event that we do not purchase any water, let's say we go an entire year and we purchase no water from the city of Lincoln, then we will split that $3,600. They pay $1,800, we pay $1,800. If we turn on the interconnect throughout the year, we don't even worry about that.
Okay.
It doesn't even play. That's a price of them doing business with us. And page 41 is we take Mr. Huffstetler's name off and put Ms. Taylor's name on. And that's, their lawyer is gonna redraw what we've talked about, get it to us. Their meeting is the week before ours in December. So come our December the 12th meeting is when you will be able to vote on this to accept it or not.
We're just tabling this tonight, right?
Yes,
Voting on it.
table it. So that's basically where we are and what the document will look like when we get it back here in a few weeks.
Is that December the 12th or 11th?
11th, I'm sorry,
11th.
December 11th.
Right.
Is our next one.
Okay. So we will not actually be taking any action on that other
No,
than
sir.
the clarification that you're gonna present.
Yeah,
They'll come right back with the contract and with the corrections on it.
that's correct.
Okay. We'll move on then to item
Do we need a
13.
motion to table it?
I don't think so. You
Yeah.
think we need a motion to table it?
I do.
Okay.
I make a motion to table the consideration of the interconnect contract agreement between us and Lincolnton until the revisions can be made and presented at our next city council meeting.
I say.
Have a motion and second to table until December the 11th, the interconnect contract between the city of Lincolnton and city of Cherryville. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. There is none. Okay, we'll move on to item 13, other business. Do I have anything from council under other business at this time?
I'd like to thank Michael Powell for attending the program that we put on, that the American Legion did at Beam Intermediate. It was well received. And our Veterans Day Parade.
You're welcome.
That was done, where they are covering that. There was a lot of people got wet, but it wasn't that bad. It was a nice crowd and everyone was glad that we did it. And there were some people on the street. So thank everyone for coming, especially you for covering
No worries, thank you.
you know, what was going on in the city.
Okay, the only thing I have to bring up is, I had a call, is our chief back there? Yeah, I had a call, a gentleman that, lives on the corner of Stires and, Academy, said they're down that steep hill before they hit the water tower and not run into the water tower, but before they go by the water tower in Modern Palmer's, says it seems like there's a lot of speeding going through there. And I was just wondering if maybe we could put up one of those traffic that tells them their speed when they go by. I think that works as far as slowing them down. At least it works while it's up. I don't know the answer. I mean, there's plenty of streets in Cherryville where people's gonna say there's speeding going on. I mean, but I told the gentleman I would bring it up, and he was concerned about that. And he said he'd like to see some police presence down that way, so.
I'll get those put up this week. We had done a study in that area just recently. And out of about 120 some cars, there were like 3 breaking the posted speed limit. But we will put those up again. And I'll try to get that done this week.
Okay.
Yeah, Judy Bingham said it seemed to have helped Reedway Road, what you did there, because it had gotten so bad. So it does work when you get people noticing.
It works while they're up.
As long as they're there, everybody sees it.
It's just like, I mean, we've actually sent cars out and they've sat and taken statistics. Of course, they see that car, they're gonna slow down. So, I mean, you know, I don't know the answer, and I just told him I'd bring it up. I don't know that you know the answer. You can't have a policeman on every street sitting there watching traffic data, so, but thank you, I think that will help. I do.
Speaking of Stires, I've got a gentleman who lives in that area constantly complaining to me that he heard we were gonna pave that street in this year's budget.
We definitely want to pave the street from, if you turn on the Stires off of 150, the goal was to at least try to pave from 150 down to the railroad tracks. With that being said, part of the money we were gonna receive from selling the museum is what was gonna pay for that. So we'll have to drop back and see how else we're gonna fund it. But that area is bad.
You can put it in the POW bill money for next year, at least.
Well, we're gonna look at trying to get it paved this year.
Okay.
I mean, that's still the goal, but we're gonna have to drop back and look and see how we're gonna fund it.
Okay. Also, I rode down to Edwards Park Sunday afternoon, and it looks great. The only drawback there is that all that stuff we've dumped in the lot next to it, and it's not screened off or fenced or anything.
We have talked about putting a black screen on
Yeah,
that
that'd be nice.
back fence. That has been talked about.
Okay. Is it gonna be done?
I'm sure.
Okay. Thank you, man.
All right.
I hate to complain, y'all done such great work, but, you know,
It looks great.
It's,
Love every bit of it.
that's been talked about.
okay.
I had a call this week, was wanting to know when the pickleball court was going to be available. Said they had already purchased their paddles and everything, and they said, I want to know when the fence is going up. We're ready to play. So it looks
Technically,
like
they can
there's
go play
some
now.
interest being shown.
They can go play now.
Yeah.
It's ready.
They
can go
just
chase the ball.
Okay. Anything else from council on other business? Okay, how about staff? Anything from staff?
Nothing further from staff.
Okay, we'll entertain them.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second for adjournment. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, there is none. We are adjourned.